The moment I knew was Friday, August 13th, 2004. That was the day Hurricane Charley made landfall in the Florida Peninsula. I spent that whole 2004 hurricane season just tracing out maps and tracking all these hurricanes. And by the August 13th, Charley was making landfall, and I was able to witness the true power of these storms. Tropical Storm Bonnie had made landfall 24 hours, and now we have this massive hurricane. And to see the changes in track and intensity that storm went through in the hours preceding landfall was something that just really inspired me and really drew me in to really want to understand more about the physical, social impacts that these storms had on people, on people. And it just made a really big impact for me, and it inspired me to follow the rest of that hurricane season, and that's what I did.
So one of my most vivid memories from when I was younger was when I was about 12. I was riding in the car with my sister, and we were driving through torrential downpour, severe thunderstorms, and I just remember feeling so alive. Every time I saw lightning strike or I could hear that thunder, I felt it vibrating through my entire body, and I think that's when I really knew that this is something that I wanted to be involved with for the rest of my life, just because it made me feel so a part of this world.
Okay, so growing up, I was actually scared of the weather. I don't really know why. I know it's kind of weird. It's just kind of one of those childhood fears. But my mother actually had the idea of having me learn about the weather so I could get over my fear. And I actually ended up being really interested in weather, and I'd always liked math and science as well, which are big parts of it. So when it came time to apply for college, I kind of couldn't think of myself doing anything other than atmospheric science or meteorology. And I applied to Cornell and got in, and that's just when I knew.
So I've always been innately interested in weather. I've always found it fascinating. Like the best weather, though, kind of on the other side of most of the weather weenies, is I like clear, sunny days, just beautiful days growing up in New Jersey during the summer in New Jersey. But I think contrasting that, what really caught my attention were the hurricanes and intense storms that passed through. Like the first hurricane I can remember is Hurricane Floyd. We received tons of water. We received a lot of water in our basement. It was a very high precipitation event. And I just remember my dad and I driving up the road to see the farms up the street, because we were right along the Raritan River. And the water had covered the cornfields all the way into the road. And I thought it was amazing that an area that can see such beautiful weather could also be ravaged by a single storm like that. And I think those are the type of events that really shaped me and really made me want to understand weather. And I think that's really those are the moments that I knew. So.
As a child growing up, I remember seeing all the radar images on the Weather Channel and standing in front of the TV like all the other broadcast meteorologists and being like, oh, look at this storm coming through. Oh, look at these fronts and these H's and L's that I don't really know what they mean, but they mean something. And I've always wanted to know what all those things meant. But it all really started for me at my 8th grade band concert. It was our last concert of the year, and we were all really emotional because we were moving on to high school. And then all of a sudden there was a tornado warning, and we all had to get off the stage, and the rest of the concert was canceled. And we were all in fetal positions around the auditorium, and I was crying and freaking out because I didn't know what was going on. And my band director was like, it's a tornado warning. Just get over it. And that's when I was just like, no, it's more than just a tornado warning. There's more meaning behind it. And ever since then, I've wanted to explore how people understood those watches and warnings and how weather affects the general public. And that was really the moment I knew.
To be honest, it wasn't really just one moment that really kind of hit it for me. It took a few of them to really kind of set it in for me. One of the earliest recollections that I have in my life was when I used to try and beat my parents on the weekends in the mornings to the television so I could watch the Weather Channel before they got up. I honestly have no idea how it got started. It's just one of those things that just happened that I remembered. But I think if there was one that really kind of set it in, it was probably the first time I really saw my first severe thunderstorm. It was one of those classic like New England thunderstorms that just put out quite a bit of lightning like every 30 or 45 seconds. And not only was I seeing the flashes, I was seeing the bolts themselves, and because they were so close, the thunder was so loud with it. And all I could feel was like this feeling of simultaneously being terrified, yet mesmerized or even hypnotized by these storms. It was just, I couldn't look away from them as terrified as I was. And I think it was kind of like that where it was almost like a light switch basically, where it's like one moment you're kind of interested in it, all of a sudden it's like, this is so awesome. I just can't help myself but want to learn more about this and really enjoy it that much more. And I think that was the moment that I knew.